Hey guys, welcome to the Shanghai Motor Show, and of course I am welcome here by Anders Warming, Head of Design Rolls-Royce. And why are we here today though?
Well, Horatio, today we're here to look at our new Rolls-Royce Spectre.
Okay.
Rolls-Royce Spectre is the future of Rolls-Royce design. As you can tell, it's an all-new design, all-new body. But what's important is this is an all-electric Rolls-Royce.
Okay.
So it's the first time that we with Rolls-Royce are actually bringing electrification to mass production.
Okay.
But as you're probably aware of, we already in the beginning of the 2000s showed the idea of electrification for Rolls-Royce. And we found out with many dialogues with our clients and customers that electrification is perfect for Rolls-Royce. It's smooth, it's wafting, it's silent, and it's actually the art of cocooning, if I may say so, and electrification works well with that. What you also see here are all new proportions. This is not the successor to the Wraith.
Okay.
This is a new car, a new proposition.
Okay.
It has actually the size and the dimensions of the Phantom Coupe.
Okay.
That means the wheel size, the bonnet height, and the presence in the front mainly. And this is something we wanted to make sure that when we come in with the topic of electrification, we come in really at the pinnacle position.
Gotcha. So I'm always fascinated about Rolls-Royce colors, and we've seen the Spectre in the new color, which I don't recall the name.
Chartreuse.
Okay,
The
interesting
colors, yeah.
name. And now we have a brand new one here, so no one has seen this one before, right?
This is the first time we show this color.
And
Be
what's the
quite
name?
honest, and since it's just the two of us,
Okay.
I'll tell you
Just
a
the two of us,
secret.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
a secret. This is actually my favorite color.
Okay.
The color is called Morganite. And it's
Morganite.
inspired by the color of the gemstone.
Okay.
But what we made sure is that this color has this very flat color to it. So it's a very fashiony color.
Okay.
And it has a beautiful contrast to this gunmetal sparkling
gunmetal.
bonnet. And this is the first time we also show the car with a full two-tone. That means
Okay.
including the A-post and the C-post in the gunmetal. So it gives it a different impression than the Aero two-tone that we showed in the Chartreuse. So yes, my personal favorite color, the Morganite.
Morganite,
Because,
okay.
like I say, it introduces the element of fashion in an automotive context.
Gotcha. So now, when we talk about Rolls-Royce electrification, what was the initial feedback from customers, right? Because Rolls-Royce is such a customer-centric brand, luxury brand. When you approach them, because I know Rolls-Royce likes to approach the customers to get feedback early on, what was their response to, hey, we're gonna go all electric?
Actually, the important thing is, and you mentioned that, is we know our clients, we know our customers. And what they were saying is they love the idea of wafting, of driving smoothly, but they will never want to compromise on the presence of the look of a Rolls-Royce.
Okay.
So whatever you do, make sure it's a Rolls-Royce first and electric second.
Okay.
So this is how Spectre has been designed, maintaining the calmness, the quiet of the surface language that you know, obviously, from Phantom. But here in an even more, let's say, tailored surfacing. Everything is crisp. All the sections are kept really sharp. But what's important is we have not overdone it with too many lines.
Okay.
So you see the lines are reduced to the fact that we just want to, let's say, the car speak for itself in its, let's say, aura.
Sure.
What's important for us in the feedback from the clients were to make sure that we're not by any means stressing the topic of electrification.
Okay.
It is a Rolls-Royce. You fall in love with the car, you close the door, it's silent, it's quiet, it drives beautifully, and at the same time, we just want to make sure that it offers this electrical drivetrain that works so well with the brand.
And of course, because Rolls-Royce is always so silent and all of that, I guess there is no transition that they have to get used to, right? It's
Absolutely.
so silent.
We
and
actually got the
everything else.
feedback from our clients and
walk around a
customers.
little bit, yeah.
They were actually saying already, if there's ever a brand that where you could have electrification that fits the brand the best, it's actually for Rolls-Royce.
Okay.
So once you close the doors, we always call it a little bit the art of cocooning, yeah?
Yeah.
You close the door, everything goes boom. And that moment of silence before you drive off, and then it just takes off, is in the Rolls-Royce. Of course, you know the famous coach doors
Yeah.
from Rolls-Royce, which are opening rearward.
beautiful.
You see here this beautiful interior with matching colors. It's not Morganite in the interior, it's what we call ardent red
Okay.
and peony pink. So it's actually 3 colors in the composition, but it works like beautifully together. And as you can imagine, once you close the door and you drive off, you have absolutely and perfect
And it's
silence.
beautiful inside, absolutely.
This
beautiful.
door also, a little anecdote, is there's a lot of firsts on the Rolls-Royce Spectre. This is the largest door in production for Rolls-Royce. It's a
Largest
1.5 meter long, hinged
Larger
in the back.
than the Phantom.
Exactly.
Wow.
The rear one goes all the way to 1.5 meters here. So it really is the most, the longest door that we have brought in production. The longer the door, the further we bring the A-post forward. But, you know, it's an A-post that's kind of split in half. It's A-post here, but the line going down. At the same time, it also offers the best opportunity to get in the back of the car to make the opening as large as possible. Yeah, it's definitely an ergonomic standpoint.
Sure. Gotcha.
Another topic, of course, that you can imagine that we're very proud of on this design, we'll take a step back. I hope it comes across in film, is these are the largest wheels presented to on a Rolls-Royce coupe. They are 23-inch wheels.
23 inches, okay.
So
massive.
the overall diameter are massive, to say it honestly, and it really, on this long, beautiful wheelbase, makes it perfect. It also drives up the belt line a little bit.
A little bit, higher.
Yeah, so you have this high belt line. So it's a car you don't kind of sit on top of, you sit inside the car when you...
Have you spent a lot of time on the aero properties of the wheels?
The properties of the wheels are generally good if they are nice and closed, but you need to find the balance between brake cooling and aero. So that's the perfect limit. So you can see there's a lot of surface here that closes off, but we make sure that we have the brake cooling as well. On the topic of aero, we've gone through many features.
We take a look, maybe, a little bit,
Well, we have to look at one thing in the front first.
Sure,
We have redesigned the Spirit of Ecstasy.
Yes, I remember
for
that one.
aerodynamic purposes.
So for aerodynamic purposes?
Actually,
wow.
because you have a break off in the surface as it comes in the front, it can create turbulence towards the back.
Very interesting.
So we actually did hundreds of hours of aerodynamic testing on the figurine to make sure that air works beautifully in the back. So that's of course the feature in the front. We also have the usual air curtains that work well.
Sure.
And coming to the rear, a beautiful center line that drops with this fastback profile here in one particular line, of course, to this specific rear line, trailing edge of the rear trunk. But why am I saying all these details? It all amounts to the best aerodynamics of a Rolls-Royce. 0.25.
Okay, that's...
So that is for an electrical proposition, a luxury car of this dimension, of this size, impression, is quite impressive.
Very impressive. And it's true that when it comes to aerodynamics, no stone can be left unturned, basically. Anywhere you can gain an advantage, you have to maximize, like you mentioned, the Spirit of Ecstasy.
It starts in the front.
Yeah,
if you get things in the front right, then you can have a nice trailing line here in the back, and it works quite well.
Gotcha.
I also think that aerodynamics, there's a little bit of a discussion, let's say in the industry, is it compromising or not? I think there's a reason why we always talked about aero coupes and whatever. It has a nice ring to it, romantic ring to it.
Yeah.
So we're very open to aerodynamic feedback to make it very, very functional.
And you can see what you mentioned from the inside, the cocooning thing. You can see from the outside how it kind of wraps and tapers out.
We say with the greenhouse and also the body design of the car, we are very inspired by yacht design.
Yeah, okay.
So when you stand in the back, you have what we call the single hull line. It starts at the front grille and it basically comes all the way past A-post, C-post to the back. So it's like one continuous single hull line. Many of our clients, they might not even compare this design to other automotive products. They compare it to boats, they compare it to planes, they can compare it to other luxury objects, of course. Maybe a last highlight I need to mention to you on the rear we're very proud of are the design of the new taillights.
Okay.
They're colorless when off, which is a very interesting feature because you're not only used to seeing red, but also that is a little bit, we're looking for inspiration outside of the automotive world.
Interesting.
But they're also very, very narrow with these like two horizontal lines that make the icons. But what's for us very important, and you see that on the Phantom as well, we call it islands in a lake, meaning we basically have no cut line all the way around the light. So you just have it like a pebble in water, basically a lamp sitting by itself. Now that sounds, why would you do that? Because from the one standpoint, we like the romance of it, but secondly, it's technically very difficult.
So we like
We like to challenge it. It's easier to run a cut line here, and you can do it the easy way out, but it's not the way we do it at Rolls-Royce.
I was going to ask, what's the engineering challenge on doing that, but I'm assuming
a lot of gray hair was involved.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But as you know, I mean, with Rolls-Royce, it's a special thing because everyone that works with us on these designs, they always feel proud of, let's go the extra mile. Let's take what's already great and make it even better. And one of the examples of that, of course, is the aerodynamic of the rear and also the design of the rear tail lights.
So going the extra mile, you mentioned that. Why I have to ask about new materials being used in all of that. Are you going to bring some new things with Spectre, like something that we have not seen before when it comes to sourcing different type of materials, or maybe changing a little bit?
Well, currently, this is actually not, let's say, the main focus, because you can say with the use of the good wood that we're using, no pun intended, good wood,
good wood,
that we're using here, in this case, the Tudor oak, these are very sustainable, good pieces of wood. So it's not like we're sourcing woods that would be questionable. We make sure it's really certified woods. We like to do that. We have the lamb's wood, we have the leather. These things are natural material, but you also have to think about it in the context, and that we're very proud of the fact that these, let's say, true materials is part of the luxury experience. One of the reasons why these cars usually will never get taken apart. You know, the brand Rolls-Royce is one of the brands in the world that have the most running cars in history that do not get put aside. So in that regard, we think long-term, we think longevity. One of the details I need to show you as well is my pet peeves is real material. For example, here the door handle. This is real steel.
So you can, when you touch it, you can feel it.
You can hear.
Of course,
You
can hear
you feel that the heft of the material. Also here the door handle
even the
here.
warmth or the cold.
It's the cold actually. I use the word cold to the touch. This is aluminium, this is steel. So when you touch it, you feel it. But one, I have to try and do it if I can do it with a microphone. It's the sound of the vents. And if I go with like this on, you actually got that ping sound. So we're talking about the two things, like the sound of the vents is basically a testament to the use of real material. And as you said before, cold to the touch. That is also inspiring. And you can then say, well, you can do it in other materials, but we're saying, no, this is what our clients want. This is stainless steel. It's steel, it's a good material, and it gives you that impression of luxury.
So I do want to ask you one more thing, because you sold me on this the last time. You mentioned that if you're inside a car, you're going to hear a drop of a pen. Is that accurate?
It is accurate, especially if it's an electrical drivetrain. You literally close the door. There's been great attention to the sealing of everything. So everything closes. And you know the feeling when you get in an airplane, you got this almost like pressure on your ears? You have that in a comfortable way. You close the door and you just feel, after, I would say, a long day, you feel this feeling of relaxation, and it works with the world of luxury. Whether it's Phantom, obviously Cullinan, but also here Spectre.
So now that's a challenge for me, because next time I'm going to drive the car, I'm probably going to bring a sound equipment to measure that in decibels to see.
You're very welcome to try that. The other thing is also is the emotional attachment I would say any of us builds a car like that.
Of course,
Once you drive it, you're like, actually, you don't want to drive anything else but this.
Gotcha. So last point on this, I'll have a chance to drive the car in June, so I'm very excited about that. But you drove the car already, so tell me, what was your impression?
It is extremely powerful.
Okay.
It's like this yacht in the water, that when you then go full speed, now here it's an electrical drivetrain, so you don't need to worry about it. It just takes off. But what it doesn't do this like race car taking off, this like acceleration with a pam pam. It has this like surge. It's like, you know, when you have
a very linear power delivery kind of
beautiful, let's say, aircraft on the airfield, and you're taking off with an aircraft. That kind of surge of acceleration. This car is best felt when you drive around 20 kilometers per hour, and you're already driving, and then you press it. And you get this like beautiful like slingshot feeling to it. And it feels really nice.
So it's very Rolls-Royce, because in other car brands you expect that neck snapping kind of feeling, where Rolls-Royce they don't want that.
There's no neck snapping here.
Exactly.
But you feel like, but like it'll propel you up the road in typical Rolls-Royce fashion. I myself was emotionally charged when I got to drive it. I could not believe how well it drives.
Awesome. Well, Anders, thank you so much for the details. I'm sure there's a lot more, so we'll have a chance maybe talk about this in detail, because I'm sure we will see some very highly bespoke cars, and probably each one of them has a unique story to it, so I'm excited to see that. Once again, thank you. Beautiful car, absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see what people are doing with this one. So
thank you, Horatio. But I have to say, before we get off, it's not the work of one person. This is an entire team, interior, exterior, bespoke. All the engineers that worked on it. It really is a family feeling that we're very, very proud of being involved with. So it's a great team effort on everything we've done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.